Hello, this is Luke Smith, ruralvacantland.com. I just dropped the kids off the first day of school, maybe half an hour ago or so. All the moms are crying and happy, relieved, excited, terrified at the same time. I don't know. But so get a little worked up about that. But now I got a lot of stuff to do. I can get things done with the kids away at school instead of running around all the time. And first things first is starting with this live video. So today we're talking about current properties that are up on the website. I'd like to look at the new ones since the last time we looked. Got a couple partners I hope to get on the phone. I'll pull up who here in a sec. Willie Goldberg, I hope to get him on the phone about a couple of his properties. Dave Ayres, he's got a property in Colorado he'd like to talk about. Excuse me. And Dave, another Dave, has a property in Modoc County, Northern California, like a 120-acre property I'd like to talk about and look at and pull up too. And then after that, I'd like to give away some more land. I believe today will be the 41st property we've given away on this YouTube channel so far. So this will make it number 41. It means I've given away 40 properties so far. Hope to give away a bunch more. And just keep them coming, keep them flowing. I think I can step it up. I'm working on a couple different angles. I think I'll be able to. My plan and my hope and my dream is to give away like a property or maybe two a day. And I'm not there yet. I got to streamline the paperwork and the whole process. I don't know if you've been watching some of the recent videos that have been coming out, but I've been updating people from properties I gave away in April. So I'm a couple months behind. I'm catching up. And I'll just keep it rolling. So that's how we like to play at ruralvacantland.com. So let's jump into it. Let me just check and make sure this thing's working. It looks like the chat's going by. A bunch of people are saying hello. And thank you. Thanks everybody for chiming in. Looks like we already got 20 people online. So cool. Thank you guys. So I was just giving a rundown of what we're going to hit today, starting with inventory, partner deals, and then we're going to give away some more land. I think this will be the 41st property. So let's jump into the internet. Let's jump into ruralvacantland.com. Let's look at the new properties that are up for sale on the website. Now usually I know what these properties are, but I don't because I think there's 15 other people that are posting properties on the website now. Like-minded land seller dealers, buy and sell people. Some of the people bought land from me in the past and they want to sell it or they want to figure it. Now they're wondering what to do with it. Other people bought land from other people. Usually they're buying it through mailers. They're sending out blind offers, cash offers, saying this is how much I'm willing to pay for your land, and they get the land back and then they put it up for sale for really cheap. And so this first thing that's coming up on the website is Apache County, Arizona. Let me just get this microphone in here. So Apache County, Arizona. Look at this, 40 acres for $4,995. Going, come on guys, I got some 40 acres for sale for more than that, so my partners are beating me. But you guys shopping land, get the best, when people are beating me, can't beat them, join them, I guess, right? So Andy Barnhart, I don't know how he got this, 40 acres, he's selling it for $4,995. That is really cheap, 40 acres. Witchwell Tavern, I've owned properties out in this area. There's a little dirt road that turns off here and goes down through the area. Guys that have shopped property in this area, they say, there's cattle standing in the road. How do I get through? That's what the horn's for. Sometimes you just gotta wait. So there's bush. There's like these juniper bushes scattering the area. So you can kind of see it sometimes. Sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can't. I believe there's street view off this road over here. So if we look at that and look over this way, you can kind of see what this countryside looks like. And so his property's off one of these little streets. Yeah, these are just like cattle strewn street 2-track kind of places, right? Yeah, so the street view's working off this road because I've had land over here. We're looking south. I want to look north, see if, yeah, okay, so north. So his property is going to be off here. So you get these kinds of bushes and it blocks up the view, right? So there could be someone else living really close to you and you can't see them, and they can come out here with an RV. And you can pull in with an RV from day one owning this land and just go for it. Nobody bothers you out here. This has been my experience. And there's a couple wells in the area that you can draw water off of. If you talk to the locals, they'll tell you where the wells are. it's pretty easy to get access to them, is my understanding. And some of them are different community wells. They'll charge you, if you're not part of that community, they'll charge you like, 2 or 3 cents a gallon, or $60 a load, or not a whole lot of money to go drag water over to your property. If you know the rates of the area, please hit it in the comments below. That'd be good for everyone else watching this, and what some of those wells are. But that's beautiful countryside. It's like blue skies 300 plus days a year, and it's got these little roads you can drive out and park in this kind of atmosphere all across this countryside. So that's what this 40 looks like for, what did I say, just under $5,000. That's pretty amazing. Okay, I'll put a link down below to this. No, I'm not going to put it to this listing. This is on ruralvacantland.com. You can go there. If you hit listings, the first thing up on the list right now is this 40 acre. It's the last one that was posted on the website. If you look on the website, if you searched Apache County, if you went down, you found, this is going to be behind my head, but see if I get it over my head. Okay, Apache County, and then you did for sale, and you did area like 40. If you set the area to 40, it'll do 40 acres and up kind of properties, and that'd pretty much take you down to probably 5 or 10 of these 40s. I'm guessing that's the cheapest one on the website. And if you go look at like LandWatch or Zillow or Land and Farm or whatever, I bet you this is going to be the cheapest 40 on any of those websites. I haven't looked at them real recent, unless that market really got knocked down quick. I mean, but the last couple of years, that'd be like way cheap for those marketplaces. Okay, next one, we got Mojave County. I've had a bunch of Mojave County on the website over time. They seem to sell off pretty fast in the right season, especially in the winter. This is Aaron English. He's got one. It looks like it's on a road. He's asking $5,400 or terms of $1,500 down and $200 a month for 36 months. So you can get, it looks like 2 roads. Looks like you could drive up to this. I'm not sure what the zoning and regulations are. Let's see. Oh, he says he's got zoning in here. Who else puts zoning in their ads, right? That's awesome. Thanks, Aaron. ARA8. The parcel is considered non-conforming, which means that this acre parcel was created prior to the regulation that requires a minimum of 36 acres in order to use the parcel as a dwelling and to be granted permits. That means you can build a dwelling and receive other permits for this parcel despite the zoning classification. Please call the county to verify a zoning can change. Okay, so it was made this smaller size before the zoning kicked in and requires a larger size. My understanding of what he's saying. That'll probably be hot commodity come cold time in the winter for the Canadians and Northwest, Midwest, Northeast kind of people. Let's see what's up next. Los Angeles County, California. This might be one of the ones that's coming up. William Goldberg Properties. It might be one of his. I might save this off to let him talk about it in a sec or two. $3,990 or $199 down, $199 per month for 24 months. So this is Los Angeles County. Wonder how far from LA this is. He's got buttons on here. You could buy cash or buy with terms. I'm curious how far out or in this is. So 2.5 acres, looked like a square property on a road. Couple different ways to get there. 56 miles, 70 miles from downtown Los Angeles. I mean, it's just on the back side of the hills. Looks like you can drive right up to it too. Switch it over to satellite and see if this works. Yeah, it looks like a little dirt road. You can drive right up to it. So that looks interesting. Existing structure and backs to National Forest, Show Low, Arizona. Half acre, $9,000 or terms. So I wonder who this is. Aaron English. Okay. He's got one. 9,000 bucks or 4 grand down and 300 a month for 36 months. He looks like he's made a video about it. 14 minutes from Sholo. Look at that. Financing. The map doesn't. Oh, here we go. We can use this map. Sinkhole Lake around the corner, so there might be water too. Trail staging area. Looks like there's a road right there. Looks like there's some nice bush. Oh yeah, that might be the structure. Huh. Okay. It's an interesting one. Seasonal Creek and total seclusion near Holbrook. Let's see who this is. The Healthier Way of Living by Talia said, I sent an email to Gilian, have the deed if you can reply. I appreciate it. Have a great day. Good deal. I think that was about land they won in the past. TK Dawes is saying, when will you get more Cochise County land? Yeah, I hope to get more. That's sold out quick or recently. We've got some different Cochise ones on the website. I think the bigger Cochise ones are sold out. Some smaller Cochise properties are really cheap. I mean, like hundreds of dollars kinds of properties I think are on the website right now. So here's the property, Aaron English. This is Aaron English again. $4,500 or terms, 1,000 down, 200 a month, 36 months. Navajo County, 31 acres. Looks like he made a video about it. Let's see if the map's working. I wonder if that's the seasonal stream he's talking about. Near Dallas, Texas, Ellis County. Oh, it's been hard to keep any Texas stuff up for sale. So what is this? $6,000. This is Curtis. He's got this one. Looks like it's on a little road. Looks like it's some trees. He's asking cash. It's just under a quarter acre. Look at that. There's a freeway not that far away. Wonder where we're at in Texas. He said it's close to Dallas. Yeah, just south of Dallas. Look at that. Just south of Dallas, kind of on the edge of town. Dallas, Fort Worth. There's Dallas. There's Fort Worth. It's on a little street. Looks like there might be a little wash in the back. There's a power line over here. Some other houses in the area. I mean, there's residential power. That looks like a scrappy building across the street. Maybe that's why it's so cheap. But, I mean, you can plant some hedges and stuff. You don't have to look at that one. Got big cookie cutter neighborhoods all over the place. There's a bunch of new properties up on the website. El Paso County, Texas. This is probably Curtis again. 15,000 bucks for 0.83 acres. He's had some El Paso ones on there before. Looks like a rectangle, a little road you can drive up to it. Houses nearby. So you pull it up on the map. Candy Pits is saying anything in the south. I don't think we have a whole lot of south going on right now. I'll pull up a map in a little bit and we'll see. There's some Florida ones, I believe, that are on the website. Off-Grid in Arizona is saying, Luke, received the deed for my free land in the mail this morning. Thanks again. Good deal. Good to hear that. If I haven't made a video about yours yet, I'm gonna try. I'm trying to update everybody on what their property is and where it is and stuff. I'll keep turning out some videos on that. See, Will Heat is saying, finally caught you live. Good. This looks like really raw land. You know, there's a little road there. It's ready to go. Looks like a power line not very far away. Bigger road over here. These kind of look like modular homes. And some site-built homes as well, a mix. Just outside of El Paso. El Paso's over here, El Paso Zoo. So out on the side of town. I think he's had a couple properties in that area that sold pretty fast recently in the past. There's 40 acres for sale in Navajo County, Arizona. $7,000 for 40 acres. Look at that. Curtis has that one. Oh, that looks like some nice local flowers. Let's see where this one is. It's up north of Holbrook. Painted desert area. Bet you that's beautiful colors. Guys, I'm always amazed at the properties these guys come up with. These guys are like my competition, right? I'm happy for them. I'm excited. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see them coming up with these really nice, cheap properties. I mean, 40 acres for $8,000. Yeah, we just talked about 40 acres for $6,000 or something from someone else, but still, 40 acres for $8,000 is really cheap. I mean, it's, where do you really get those kinds of prices? And we've got multiple ones to choose from on ruralvacantland.com. That makes me happy. It's like powerful down inside. Sun Valley, I've had a bunch of properties in Sun Valley. I think they're all sold out, all the ones that I've had. Everybody's been happy that I can think of, remember, that bought any of those properties. Because you could drive right up to them in your RV and have at it. You could come down here through the cold of the winter and it's still, you know, the elevation isn't that high. As you get down in this valley, it's really nice and warm through the winters. So I'm not exactly sure where this property's at, because this doesn't look like the location of a 40. Maybe the 40's over here or something. Let's see if there's a picture of it. Like a lot line. I don't know. Let's go to the next property. Torrance County, New Mexico. So a lot of people asking about New Mexico. I don't even know where Torrance County is. I'm usually pretty good at geography. I don't know where Torrance County is. Let's take a look at this one. This is Chris Riviera. He's got this one. Let's see what's around the area. Oh, here's the 40, so it's up north more. There's Albuquerque. Okay. So I've got properties over here. I've had properties in these mountains. This is Bernalillo over here, so I guess it changes from Bernalillo County to Torrance. I've never owned any property in Torrance County. Looks like there's some irrigation pivot points. Looks like some little roads. Looks like you could drive right up to it, have your own place. No one around. Wonder if that's a house or a water well for the cattle or what. That's a watering hole. You can see all the cattle trails coming into it from all different directions. So somehow they got water here. How much is he asking for this one? $2,500 down, $199 per month. To see how many months? Didn't say how many months. So a $12,000 price. Oh, 48 periods. Okay. Let's see if there's a couple more. So Candy's saying, how do I find the zoning restrictions for the land I won? I wanted to know how long do I have to build. All the land I've given away, as far as I know, you've got forever to build. You don't have to build anytime soon. I try to stay out of those kinds of restrictions where they give you a timeline to build. Like, you got to build within 3 years or else, yeah, that's not fun land to own. That's just, you got to be like on the ball, ready to develop like tomorrow if you've got those kinds of restrictions. So Candy, I think I made a video just recently in the last couple days. I'm not sure if it published yet or not, for your free land, and it's got the APN and that the deed. If you got the deed yet, it should have the APN on there too, and the county, the name of the county, and the number of the property. And if you call the county, I mean, this is how I usually start with figuring out zoning on any properties. I call the county. I look up the planning and zoning for that county, and Google. I think yours was Izard County, so if we do, I'll just do it, right? Izard County planning and zoning, and see what comes up, if anything comes up. Izard County Building Department, that's Arkansas. Maybe we could try that one. So I think the problem with Izard County is looking for planning and zoning is they don't really have much of anything. It's not a problem, it's a good thing. But they've got a neighborhood there, and so the neighborhood that your property is in is called Horseshoe Bend. Horseshoe Bend, Arkansas. Let's see if it comes up. Yeah, so Horseshoe Bend, Arkansas. They've got a Wikipedia and stuff. If you start researching that, so this neighborhood goes across 3 different counties. And if you call the people that run this neighborhood, they have a whole bunch of paperwork to talk about what edition of the neighborhood that you're in. And so on your deed, it'll have a legal description of the property, and it'll say something like Horseshoe Bend and addition. That's like, over time they added on to the neighborhood. They made additions to it as they bought up the neighbor's property and stuff, and they cut them up into little pieces of land, and they sold them off over time. They made different rules about each one of those, and it was like in the late 50s, early 60s, I think, that they made the rules up for most of that neighborhood. And so each edition, it had a different set of rules. So you can't just take the rules across the whole neighborhood and say, that's what it is. It's this square footage, it's this requirement, that prohibition of whatever. You got to call them and ask about that edition, and it'll say the name of the edition. And you can give them the APN number of the property, and they'll look it up and figure out what edition you're in too, if you can't figure out what edition it is. And then they'll, I've had them email bits to me before. I think they'll email pieces of that to you. And I've asked for the whole thing, like, can I just have the whole thing so I can map out the whole neighborhood and post it online? They won't give it to me. They'll just give me little bits and pieces of it over time. So if you search my website, if you look on the map, if you go to map search, let's go to map search. Let's open it in a new tab. If you figure out where your property is, maybe from that video that I made, or I could look up the GPS coordinates for you if you email me and stuff. I think one of the emails, at least it was supposed to go out about your free land, had GPS coordinates in it. I'm not sure if it went out or not, but if we compare where your property is compared to property that I've got for sale or is sold on the website, lots of the properties that are for sale or sold on the website have the zoning paperwork. And so you can, if you get the right edition, if we zoom into Horseshoe Bend area, see all these red ones here are sold, right? Green ones are up for sale. So if we figure out where your property is and look at that area, look at one that's really close to it, look at the legal description in my ad, make sure the legal description says, make sure it says the same edition that is on yours, and then you can look at the rules and regulations of that. So that's probably going to be the only place you'll be able to find it online, or the ones that I've posted on my website. Other than that, you're going to have to get it over the phone from the county. And that's part of vacant land, like not just here, anywhere. Buying land and figuring out what you can do with it is huge. Lots of times it's a good idea, pretty much always a good idea, to figure out what you can do with the land before you buy it. So if you're calling the county, you're calling the neighborhood, you're calling the state, you're calling the township, you're calling the city, whatever kinds of rules and regulations cover that land that you're interested in buying, and asking them, what are the rules and regulations? Do you have something? Do you have a reference? Is there somewhere online I can go read about this? Can you mail it to me? Can you fax it to me? Can you email it to me? How do I get my hands on it? Do I have to walk in there personally and look at the old books of this stuff and take pictures with my phone or something? Like, how can I get my hands on this? Is there somebody to explain it? Do you have applications? And it's different all over the place. And so that's just part of the process. That's part of the due diligence. And then you get into these different areas. I'm not saying this area particularly, but some areas you got to check with the fire department, because the fire department will have their rules and regulations about clipping brush, cutting trees, making sure the grass is cut, making sure that the fire truck can get up and down your road or that road or your driveway or whatever. You could talk to the water department if there's water serving the area and ask, are there allocations? Yeah, there's a water line, but can I still get water? Is there enough pump capacity? Is there enough infrastructure capacity? I bought some properties in Northern California, and the state says no more water allocations. This turns out the state owns all the land, or all the water on this particular neighborhood. And when I bought it, there were no allocations. They weren't giving up any allocations. I'm going, oh great, I got this land. There's no water. What am I going to do with it? They said because of severe drought. When the severe drought's over, we'll bring it back to life, and then we'll start issuing new permits again. Like, okay, so there's hope someday. And it wasn't too long. It was a couple months later. The severe drought was X'd, and they started giving out allocations again. Now, out into the future, we have another severe drought. Maybe the state stops issuing allocations, and the land prices crash and fall there again. I could buy them up again. I don't know. But you got to ask and look for that kind of stuff. So water, power, fire, earthquake, tornado regulations, hurricane regulations. This is stuff that you got to figure out. And there's no real one source of information. That's what makes vacant land so complicated, is that it's not like you type in the property into the internet and it says, okay, here's what you can and can't do. Nobody gives you a list like that, because nobody wants to be responsible for telling you what you can and can't do. You got to interpret these rules. You got to interpret these regulations. Are they really enforced? Are they serious? Is it like some of these rules that are on the books from a long time ago that are just silly, nonsensical stuff that people just laugh at and nobody pays attention to? Or are they for real? Do people actually enforce these rules? And do they have consequences? Some of these rules don't have any consequences. There's nobody to enforce them. There's nobody to police them. So are they for real? I don't know. How comfortable are you breaking them or not? I don't know. It's up to the person, right? And so nobody wants to tell you that. The lawyer doesn't want to tell you that. Nobody wants to tell you that. You got to figure it out on your own. That's a huge piece of vacant land, and adding value to the vacant land. Like, if you can figure it out, take it from nothing to something, the beta, the percentage, the gain goes, it just goes parabolic. And that's the beauty about vacant land. It's hard to hurt. It's hard to destroy. It's hard to burn down. It's hard to blow up. It's hard to steal. It's hard to, it sits there as a pretty good solid commodity. Yeah, fire rips through there every now and then, a tornado, a flood, whatever. The land's still there. And your kids can still sell it. Your grandkids can still sell it. There's still a value. There's an intrinsic value to that stuff. And but someday, as technology comes around, as rules come around, as people get more educated, they get more drive and inertia to go figure it out and make it happen, the value goes up. And then they turn it into a house that you could sell for more, or they turn it into a school or an airport or some oil processing facility or whatever, all kinds of things that they could turn the land into that's worth more than it just being vacant. And that's a huge opportunity for all these properties that we're talking about. So Candy got me off on a little rant there, but let's go back. And go back to some of the properties. So we went through this first page. We got a bunch of bigger acreage ones spread around. Torrance County, New Mexico. That was the last one we were looking at. It can't be that many more here before we get into ones we were looking at before. We got Navajo County, 5 acres. We got where's this? Valencia, New Mexico, 20 acres for $3,500 down, $199 a month. So it's nice to see some more New Mexico coming up on the website. Fremont County. Where's that? Doesn't say the state. I got to get that fixed. Where's Fremont, Florida? Florida, Colo acres. The map doesn't work. Okay, so I'm going to try to get that fixed. El Dorado County, California. So this is one of my properties. You guys are picking on me because I made a video with no audio about it. I got rid of that one. I made a new video about it the other day. And yeah, so there's a stream down at the bottom of these two properties. There's a road at the top. There's a power line. There's a water meter, and it's in an area where up and coming. It's getting regentrified and a good deal, as property prices from San Francisco Bay Area have been expanding out to the area, and Lake Tahoe and nice places in between. This is a nice lake in between San Francisco and Lake Tahoe. It's close to both, and you get this beautiful lake just up the street here. Let's kill that map. Looks like we're still getting green lights and the internet's working pretty well, so I'm happy with that. So I got some more of these Northern California properties coming up that I haven't totally priced yet. I got to make sure the paperwork's fully settled before I can put the for sale, totally for sale button on there. Amador County. I can't wait to get this one up for sale. These two are right next to each other, and there's a little bridge that goes over a stream, and so you like own the bridge, you own stream on both sides, and it's got roads coming in from both sides of the stream. You come in from Amador or El Dorado County and build a cabin on the stream, or one side or the other, or both sides. You could sell off one side. I mean, the ads are set up here so you could buy one half of the stream or the other half. San Bernardino County, California. There's some classic 5 acres on terms. Pinal County, got this one up on the website pretty soon. This was one I was working on. This is by far the cheapest, 20 acres in Pinal County. Pinal is north of Tucson, south of Phoenix. I'm asking $22,000 bucks. I think there's a good shot you could split that property up if you wanted to. It looks like it's got a nice road going into it. This is actual pictures of the property. Title company went out and took some pictures, made sure there's no one living on the property, and yeah, so just a beautiful area of Pinal County. And I think we're getting far enough back into time of postings here that we should switch over to partner deals. So let's go to let's pick up the phones and see if I can get someone on the phone. Let me do a couple of the chat here, see if I'm missing anything. Jessica's saying this is the first notification YouTube had sent in a while now. Good deal. Do you have anything in Wyoming? No, I don't have anything in Wyoming right now. Wyoming is very hard to buy land in. From my research, my understanding is, I was looking at the splitting, right? Because Wyoming land goes for a lot of money, and there's not a whole lot of small properties. There's bigger properties, like big, multi-section properties where you can get good dollars per acre pretty well, but not a normal 40 acres or 20 acres or 5 acres or something that's more regular size to me. And so why not take those multi-thousand acre properties and break them up into 5 acres or 10 acres, 20 acres or something? Because of the rules and regulations in, I got my face on the screen, I just noticed, instead of taking it over the computer, I'll take it over in a second. But the splitting regulations in Wyoming are really tough. Like, they let you go down to 80 acres without really being there and going through the local politics. If you try to make something smaller than 80 acres, you got to be like presenting to the community, getting the community on board, getting them to sign stuff and okay it and give you permission and everything else. So it's really, if you're making the smaller properties, they want them to be in town, not out in the countryside, and they want them to be hooked to utilities and stuff, and they want them to be like neighborhood-ish, adding on to town. They don't want you living out in the middle of nowhere on a 5, 10, 20 acre. If you're living out in the middle of nowhere, you should own the rangeland. You should own the countryside. It's that kind of atmosphere, attitude, and so it's hard to find the smaller properties in between. Like a rancher broke off some here and there, and you know, for their kids or their grandkids or whatever, maybe you could buy it off of them. But it's not like a constant supply of new properties that people are splitting up and putting on the market. So there's not that many properties to mail offers to. There's not that many properties to negotiate with and haggle on and try to get somebody that's really needs to sell right now and get them at a low price and reset the marketplace to lower prices. So it just, because of that lack of supply, they've got higher prices in the market. Because of that, I don't really have any Wyoming properties. I haven't been able to afford them. Let's see. Something happened. I got red lights. It's going green again. Let's see what this says. I've been promoting you, Luke. A2 is saying he's been promoting me. Thank you, A2, to Luke Gall. Lori Gerdia says, do you have a list on site of what to check into, like water, power, fire department? Yeah, I wish I knew what all to check into. I keep learning new stuff to check into all the time. Like if it's a neighborhood, sometimes I've gotten into neighborhoods and I didn't know that they were gated, and I put the property up for sale and people go to look at it and there's like a gate, and I got to figure out how to get access to the gate and go do that paperwork and get a key card and get a PIN number and everything. I mean, that's not cool for me to trade those kinds of properties. Other ones, it's like, do you need a card to get access to the lake or the trails or maps? Or there's no specific list. I don't have a list. I mean, I don't think I'd do justice by creating one. I'm sure I would leave so much stuff off of there. It's just not fun. Gone prospecting, saying your rants are very informative. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, Lori's saying I saw the one with no audio too. Tom is saying, hi Luke, I just subscribed the other day. Do you have any no restriction property? Yeah, so Tom, there's a lot of the no restriction properties has been selling out quick. Like my definition of no restriction has been Cochise County. It's been one of the easiest ones. But we just talked about a bunch of Apache County properties that are new up on the website and really good prices. Those have really like low to no restrictions, really easy to use properties. If you want no restriction, I'd start looking into Apache County, Arizona. And Navajo County next to it's pretty darn easy too. We got a bunch of properties in Navajo as well. I'm not sure if that's the area of the country you're looking for, but I mean, you can roll up in your RV from day one and just kick it and go for it, no problem. Tom, like Cochise RU4 property, that's what I want too. It sells fast, yeah. Dr. Todd Fisher says, Landman Luke, always glad to catch you online. Yeah, I think Dr. Todd, I think you left a message that you're like on my list to call you back. I'm gonna try to make that happen today. And then my chat keeps skipping. Langles LS Sing Praise says, hello everyone, wanting to start a little homestead off the grid, partially off the grid to grow organic everything. Nice. Someone's asking Minnesota. So Minnesota, if there's anything in Minnesota. Anwar, if we look at landowners, Anwar usually has the best deals in Minnesota. Let's see if we can find Anwar on here. I know he was on the website. He's come and gone a couple times. I'm not sure if he's on. Yeah, here's Anwar. So if you go and look at landowners on the website, look at Anwar Montgomery and look at his properties. He's usually got some in Minnesota. And if you don't see what you like there, talk to him. He's always got some more of them in the hopper coming and going, and a bunch of these Minnesota properties. I'm not sure these are all Minnesota. This looks like Minnesota, but that doesn't look like Minnesota. Well, sorry, let me go to the screen. So Anwar, so this is under listings, landowners, and then go down to Anwar. And Anwar's phone number's on the screen here. His email's on the screen. I just clicked something. Hope that doesn't go nuts on me. But he's got a bunch of properties in Minnesota over time. And it's hilarious. Like, you get a warm, sunny day in Minnesota in the winter, and people go look at the land. It all sells out the same day. And then when it's cold and people are inside, the stuff sits there with no phone calls. It's I think it's funny. I don't know. Maybe you guys don't think that's funny, but it's like inventory builds up and then boom, all gone. So if you're gonna buy in the fall, like now, I mean, this is probably a great time to go shop Minnesota. Maybe you can start competing with deer hunters and stuff, but in the wintertime, nobody's buying that. Spring starts happening, it all goes away. People buy it up fast. Homestead, wanted to live off the land. Yeah. Peddle and Profit says, Luke, mineral rights, how many states don't allow you to own the mineral rights? States don't allow you to own the mineral rights. I don't think it's the states that don't allow you to own the mineral rights. This is my understanding. I mean, anyone who knows better, feel free to correct me in the comments and stuff. My understanding is that if you go to like the General Land Office, let's pull up another website, see if I can pull this up. It's merged into the Bureau of Land Management now, but there used to be this office, you know, its own office. Texas General Land Office, here we go, BLM General Land Office. So it used to be a part of the government, and it got merged together to save money with the Bureau of Land Management. So you used to have the General Land Office and Bureau of Land Management, and they would keep track of stuff like, you know, the land management would manage the land that the government has, like Department of Agriculture. They would lease out land for cattle and everything else and whatever they could get money out of it for, to help the government coffers and put the land to work in the meantime until they could give it away or turn it into a park or do something with it later on someday. The General Land Office, in my understanding, would issue homesteads. You know, you got a bunch of sheep and you know how to raise sheep, and you see some place that the government has that you want to raise sheep, you could apply for it. They'd have different promotions. They try to give away like the state of Oklahoma or something, and have people come from Europe, and they put ads all over the place. You rush out there and you get your piece of land and you go create your homestead and stuff. I think the General Land Office was the one that like orchestrated that. And so the General Land Office would transfer and keep track of the transfers of land from the government to the first real owner of that property. And so if you go to the General Land Office part of the Bureau of Land Management website, you can look up history. Like here it says, let's make sure it's on the screen, survey plats and field notes. And so when the U.S. was surveyed, they would have the people, you know, the surveyors keep track of stuff. What kinds of trees are there? What size trees are there? Are there water holes? Is it swampy? Is it sinkholes? Is there peat? Is there coal? Do they see minerals? Do they see stuff that might be economic? There are all these different things. There's like a list of stuff that these surveyors are supposed to keep track of. And they would take their chains and they would stretch that chain out across an area, and they try to get it straight and in the right heading, and they'd measure off the land using a rod and a chain, and this many chains long would be this next section, and they'd stamp out squares all across the countryside, and they'd take notes along the way. So you can read those notes, those old historical notes, what the surveyors took of the land, and then you can see the records of where that land is. So you can pull up the records, and you can eventually you can get down to these index records where you can see like President Taft in whatever 1940, I don't know. I'm going to mix up my presidents, my years. You get the idea. Some old president and some old year signing over a piece of land to some farmer's name, some homesteader's name. And you can trace that from this website is the start. You can get the notes, the records of where it's being transferred from the federal government to the landowner. And when that transfer happens, the federal government would usually include the mineral rights. And so that goes back to your question of who's got the mineral rights in what state and stuff. In other places, like let's say California, for example. California got a bunch of land. When you became a state, statehood, a lot of that land that the federal government had transfers over to the state control. Not all of it, but some of it. And then the state has all this land that they can then sell, vend off, trade off, whatever to people. And so the state got creative and greedy, whatever. They kept the mineral rights. So lots of these states would keep the mineral rights, like Texas, not so much. California, a lot more so. And they would keep them for the state. And then the state would lease them off. So if you bought land, if you went back through the records and you found that your property was not from the federal government, but eventually it was like homesteaded from the state, and you looked at that paperwork of it being homesteaded from the state, it'll say state retains mineral rights. These records from the federal government, for Bureau of Land Management or General Land Office, it usually doesn't say that the federal government keeps the mineral rights. I mean, I'm sure there's exceptions and stuff, but for the most part, it's not in there. And so this website can help you go through that history of the old stuff. And it's free, it's open, it's easy to use, it's in English, you can read it and everything, and click on things and see it online. You can print them out, and you can trace the history of your property. So after it went from the government, whether it's federal government or the state, depending on if you got the mineral rights or not back then it transfers to the next family and the next family till eventually you buy it. And anyone in that history of trading might have written on a deed or written a contract somewhere that says, I'm going to keep the mineral rights, or I'm selling them to so-and-so. And so figuring out that paperwork is the mystery. So if you go to a lawyer, you go to a title company, they'll say, yeah, I'll go research it for it. They'll charge you for it. And they'll look through this kind of paperwork, and they'll write you an opinion. In my opinion, as whoever they are, I believe you have the mineral rights, or I believe you don't have the mineral rights because of this contract, that contract, this recording, that recording that they found. And it's an opinion, it's not a fact. So even the big mining companies like Newmont, they've been in all kinds of lawsuits. They go build a big gold mine. They're like team of lawyers that specialize in this stuff. Go research the mineral rights. They build $1 billion mine, and people still show up later and be like, no, my grandpa in this little square over here, he gave the mineral rights to my dad. My dad, he gave it to me. No, it's not recorded anywhere, but we got this trust here. We got this paperwork, and grandma had it in her attic or something. And they bring it out, and they're like, now your mine's worth some money. You got to pay us. And Newmont pays, because that's just how it works. And so if you're researching your land, you're not Newmont with that team of lawyers. You're not going to get that granularism. And even if you did, you're still going to not really know for sure. That's just the way it is. So people ask me about the mineral rights, and I'm like, yeah, good luck. Go figure it out. But that basic stuff, whether it came from the federal government or the state, can give you a really good idea right out of the gate without chasing around a lot to know if it's possible that they're there, if the state has them. Okay, let me see where we're at. Let's go back to some chat, and then we're going to hit the phones here pretty soon. There are 3 or 4 Minnesota properties on his site. Not sure if they're still available. Yeah, so we talk mineral rights. Where can find? Do county websites tell you if you can parcel each county is different? Do county websites tell if you can parcel each county is different? I'm not sure the question. You mean like split parcels up, or I'm not sure. My chat keeps skipping around. And to be clear, no restrictions can be right now, meaning any moment things can change. Jacques Allen, or whatever the name is saying, yeah, no restrictions right now, and restrictions can change for sure. I just had some restrictions change on some properties that I had a couple weeks ago, a month ago, that I wish I knew that law was coming through. I'm not going to get into details of it, but yeah, laws come through, new laws come through. I'm like, oh, this is open, easy. Luke starts promoting it. The laws change. Like, they watch some video I made. Oh man. Tom, looking in Arkansas. Thanks. Okay. Lori's, thanks. Okay. The only thing I worry about with Apache and Navajo County property is all the reservation land. So that's a good question. There's a lot of reservation land, Apache and Navajo, hence the names of the counties, right? It's totally Indian country. And I don't know if you've ever visited or gone up to Navajo Nation, like in the northern part of Navajo and Apache County. But I've driven around in there and other Indian reservations too. And, you know, they don't have finance, right? Like Indian reservation, a lot of people are like, oh, how poor it is and everything. They don't have any finance. Like, you can't go to the bank and get a construction loan. You can't get a mortgage on your house because they can't take it away. It's on the reservation. And the reservation, I mean, sometimes they have their banking facilities set up enough to kind of loan you money, but they're nowhere near as competitive as like all your local credit unions and big banks. So a lot of the people end up financing a mobile home because the mobile home could be taken away, theoretically. And mobile home finance starts to work. They get a lot of mobile home operations on the reservations or some government compound building stuff. And then everything else, just, it's hard. But so you go up to Navajo Nation, there's coal mines, you know, like some massive, good cooking coal kinds of mines, like good quality met coal. And a lot of them work the mines. And they have a big, you know, fancy red pickup truck or whatever from big payday. And or they can finance the pickup truck, but they can't finance the house. I don't know. All their money goes to that. They could probably get it out of some government fund or something. I gotta watch what I'm saying. But they get like a pickup load truck of coal from the coal mines, and they'll take it home to their mobile home, and they dump it in the front yard, and they heat the mobile home with coal. It's like, where else do you see that in the U.S.? That doesn't happen. That's like 100 years ago or 200 years ago or something. But they don't have all the federal regulations, air quality and everything else. They don't have the finance to get power lines in there and gas lines and infrastructure of other means. So they still use coal. I mean, there's some interesting things that go on in those Indian reservations. I'm not saying there's anything positive or negative about it. I think it's great to see a diverse culture there. You know, different people in the area and the way that they live. And I'm not scared of them or frightened of them. I don't know why you'd care about living next to an Indian reservation, pro or con. I think it's kind of nice to see the difference in rules, like going from lots of rules to no rules, crossing the border from American land to Indian land, and seeing how it changes. Like all of a sudden there's trash on the ground, or all of a sudden there's billboards all across the sides of the streets. Like, oh, I guess they weren't allowed to put billboards on, you know, the regular land, but you get in here and they don't have the restrictions. It's kind of nice not to have billboards all over the place sometimes. Herb's saying, I'd love that New Mexico 40 acres, but to have terms. Yeah, just ask whoever's New Mexico 40 acres was, if they'll do terms. Jeff Hinckley's saying it's the Fed. Peddling private, the state of North Carolina, no one owns mineral rights. Really? Okay. There you go. I guess that's before a lot of, maybe I don't know the rules and regulations of the 13 colonies. Maybe that's before a lot of land was given away in the U.S. A lot of, I'm used to the rules and regulations out west. Who votes for these laws? We do. You don't ever go to vote. Voting happens a couple times a year, it seems like. You can vote on all kinds of things. If you want to make up the laws, you start petitions and push them and get new laws on the ballots, or bribe your politician to do something, you know, give them donations or promotions or whatever to push your whatever kind of rules you want ahead. A2 says, the way I see it in America, if you own a piece of property, you should also own mineral, timber, water, and sky rights, but it's different everywhere you go. I agree too. It would be nice to own all the rights. At the same time, I used to work for a natural resource finance company. I'm just playing devil advocate here. I agree with you. It's nice to own the rights. But when you have a whole bunch of smaller properties, 2 acres, 5 acres, 10 acres, 20, 40 acres is smaller when it comes to building economic mining operations. You're the speculator, the prospector. Are you going to go look in an area where there's one huge landowner you could do a deal with, whether it's the state or the feds or, you know, Rancher Bob who's got cattle all over the place, big gold mines worth a lot more than the cattle? It's easy to pay them off. Or would you go look in the place that's got, you know, hundreds of 40 acres spread across the area? You got to go do permissions with each one of them. One guy holds out and says, no, you can't build a gold mine where my property is. You got to pay me $1 billion. Everyone else is willing to jump and ship and run for 10 million or I don't know, $100,000 or $200,000 or something. Huge difference. So places where the state has the mineral rights and they lease them out to prospectors, you can, as a prospector, you can get your hands on those mineral rights. You can raise capital and you can speculate. The people that are giving you the money are still thinking the risk is going to be getting the surface access to those mineral rights, and you as a landowner got to get paid and be happy and everything to get out of the way or give them access to those mineral rights. Whether they're drilling holes and testing, you get some money. Whether they're flying across and they're doing radiometric or, you know, all kinds of different surveys, they pay you money. They pay you, and they don't find anything. They still pay you for access. And if by chance they do find something, they're going to have to pay you a bunch more to get your butt out of there so they can go build a mine, which can be a really cool payday. Well, it might be oil and gas and stuff too, or you can still stay there. You just see all the equipment all over the place. There's lots of variations to it, but I think the money flows first where the mineral rights are consolidated the most, and it's easiest to go work on those. So that's just kind of the way it is. The surface owner, you still got to pay them something to get access to them, but it's, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense or not, but maybe you follow me. Herb saying them Indians don't want you there. Mr. Flash is saying you never really own the land. You're saying I know many of them. That's true, Mr. Yeah, that's true. So try using coal in California. I know, burned egg, exactly. Saying I'm part Native American, part Irish, but I'm worried about the land being taken away because I don't belong to a reservation. I'm such a mutt, I probably wouldn't qualify. Yeah, so the land that I've got up for sale has nothing to do with the reservations. Like, I can't sell the land from the reservations. That's totally different ownership. You got to like go get permission from the grand hoo-ha-ha of the reservation, right? I mean, it's not, I'm not in that business. The properties I have are taxed by the county. They're in the county books. They're private properties. They can be traded back and forth. I could buy them, I can sell them. They have nothing to do with the reservations. I don't deal in the reservation lands. So none of the properties are on reservations. TK Dawes is saying, Luke, I found land in Cochise County, Arizona, 40 acres, $8,000, but it's over my price range. I was wondering if I could send you the link and maybe you could buy it and sell me some, and sell me 10 acres. I mean, maybe, but I mean, usually when I buy these properties, I'm not paying the same price as you are. I'm not trying to be rude, but it's like that sounds retail price, $8,000 for, I mean, that's pretty cheap, 40 still. But I mean, it's, I go through systematically and offer everybody in the area that owns anything like the kind of land that I want a cash price that I can make money on reselling at a higher price. That's still half of retail. That's what I aim at. And so usually that strategy of buying land, I get it a lot cheaper. I get a potpourri of stuff. It doesn't work that well when you're shopping for yourself, but I get when you're reselling it, you know, just buy everything that comes in that's good prices and then put it up for sale. You guys can pick through it. You can cherry pick and you pick the best stuff and you still get the best price stuff in the marketplace. But if I'm buying retail and trying to sell retail, it doesn't work. You gotta buy low and sell high, right? Peddling Profits saying, don't forget to hit the like button. Luke is doing a good job. Thanks, guys. I got to get on the phones and get some of these other guys. So I'm gonna put a pause on the chat. Thanks for all the chat, guys. Let's call some of the guys that want to talk about land. I'm gonna pull up the website again, and let me just hit some more buttons. Okay, so let's pull up realvacantland.com. Let's get Willie Goldberg on the line if I can get him. If he's out there listening, you're coming right up, Willie. See if he answers. Let me figure out all these buttons. Sorry for the silence. I'm just trying to type Willie in here. See if I can get the audio going. I think it's coming on.
This is Willie.
Hello, Willie. It's Luke.
Hey, Luke. How's it going?
Hey, good. So, making kind of a longer video today.
Okay.
A couple rants going on before I was able to call you. So, I think I got this first property pulled up, and for new people listening who haven't heard of Willie before, Willie's been on the website for a while. He's come on the show a couple times. We've done a couple land deals together. He's got 3 different properties that he wants to cover today, and I'm guessing you got these properties off of mailers, or right? Probably got some good deals on them, and now he's got them up for sale. I got the first one pulled up on the screen. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, so it looks like it's pulled up on the screen. This first one I got of yours, Willie, is $4,490. It's 2.5 acres, Los Angeles County, California. It looks like there's a little road there to drive up to it. It looks like you made a video about it. What can you tell us?
Yeah, so I guess first, I'm getting a bunch of properties coming up soon. So I'm getting several infill lots. I'm getting a couple in Apple Valley, I'm getting one in Adelanto, and I'm getting one near Ridgecrest. And I'm picking up a bunch of properties
Nice.
out in New Mexico. So I'm going to be getting, a good amount of properties out in Rio Arriba, Sandoval, and then Valencia County. Those 3 counties have been pretty good. So I'm getting a bunch of
Good.
lots up for sale. So I guess I'm putting up some of the older. I listed 3 of these properties that I sent to you, and I'm offering discounts on them. I'm trying to start to move properties because I'm getting several more for sale. So I'm offering for this week. I'm offering any of these 3 properties that we're talking about in Los Angeles County. They're all 2.5 acre lots for $2,990. So like I said, like you just mentioned, that one was for about $4,500. So I'm marking that down a little bit, and then I just got another one for sale. I bought it last week. It's the one in Pear Blossom. It's in Llano, near it's about an hour from Los Angeles. It's near Little Rock. I've had a bunch of people interested in that area. So, and then the other one's in Palmdale, and the other one's in Lancaster. So any of them, if you're interested, $2,990 or $149 down, $149 a month for 24 months. So yeah, that's just a little background in what I'm trying to do here.
Nice. So where are you getting all the properties? You sending lots of mail out? Are people calling you up? Or all the above?
Yeah. I sent out. I quit my job a couple, 2.5 months ago, and then since then I've just been sending out a lot of mail. It's been sending out a mailer a week, pretty much since I ended, and so I've been getting a lot of responses as of recently. So there's a lot of people willing to sell. So I'm trying to add a lot to my inventory, and then the new one that I got in Llano was just a mailer I sent quite a while ago. And someone just reached out to me and said that they wanted to sell, so I pulled that one up and I just put that on the site. I think it was this past week.
Good.
So got a lot of people calling.
Was it just totally time to quit your job, or you're excited about it? You're scared? All the above? what was the move?
I mean, it definitely took some courage, and I thought it was I think it was that time I was spending quite a bit of time in my evenings and weekends, and yeah, it was just kind of taking over my life, doing both at the same time. So I realized that my job was also costing me deals and costing me money. So I decided to just dedicate it full time, and I think it was a good move. So far, so good. Been
Nice.
selling a bunch of properties over the past couple months. Had
Good.
probably most properties I've sold in June and July. So it's going very well so far. So
I know, right?
pretty happy about the move.
Congratulations. That's so fun to hear. So you went from, how long have you been dealing land?
I started in about April of 2017.
Nice.
So about a year. Yeah, a little over a year. And then I called it quits in late May.
That's cool. It was so nerve-wracking for me to quit my job. I mean, I had a really good paying job, and they were awesome to me, and a bunch of good guys that I worked with, and I loved doing what I was doing there. It just took it all out of me. Like, I was there before the sun went up, and I was gone. I was getting home about the time the sun goes down, and I tried so hard to like high grade my business, 80-20 stuff. I would sell off, vend off, fire off, get rid of the bottom 80% of the clients that I had, and just focusing on the top 20%. And for a month or two, I would have more time, and it would be more real, normal job life ratios. And when you do that, when you focus in on the top 20% of the business and you get rid of the bottom 80%, yeah, theoretically it's like, okay, I'll just make 80% of the money I used to make, but it would double. Business would multiply, because the best of them, the best clients I had better clients as friends, and they would refer their friends because I called them more often. I'd get bored, I'd be calling them, like, giving them updates on their investments, and we'd be polishing stuff, making it better, and things it would work better. And then I'm going, oh, what did I do? The business blew up. It was a really good problem to have. And I was just trying to get my work-life balance back in order, because I was having kids, like little guys. And I was trying to take care of them and juggle them, and it wasn't working. But the business was awesome. It was spectacular. It was a really nice business. And it finally came to the point of, I can't do this anymore. I just can't. I didn't have the next gig. Like, it sounds like you had the next gig doing land, but I didn't have the next gig. And I just said, I bought some investments that pay all the bills, and I don't need to be here anymore. And I really like it, and I really like my clients. The sorry guys, hand them off to some other brokers that I thought would do a good job and everything. And I just said, I'm basically retiring. I'm out of here, and I can't take it down to smaller time. It's just not in my nature. And it didn't. So I walked away, and that was like the scariest day of my life. I don't know how to say that. But when I walked out of there, I was so relieved. I was so happy. I could start seeing the sun again. I could go to the beach in the daytime. I could take the boat out. I started taking the boat out like 4 or 5 times a week, going spearfishing all over Southern California, and I just started coming back around. I started getting good nights of sleep again, and things livened up, and I started reading about how to make my investments better and how to polish them. And I was looking at other angles and better ways, and eventually found how to cut some middlemen out of different deals I was in, and the land was really doing that, cutting out the middlemen stuff. So I figured I'd try some land deals, and land deals started taking off. So I haven't looked back, haven't gone back to other kinds of investments. I love these kinds of investments. So it's like, it's really cool to hear you say that you quit your job to go pursue land deals. I think that's powerful. I think it's awesome. I love to hear that. There's not that many land dealers out there, and I'm sure there's room for a lot more of them, and we'll have at it. I think we can work off of each other along the way. High five, go look at Willie's land. Go look at Luke's land. That kind of stuff. And so that's cool. So I like to see the properties you got here. I like to hear that you got a bunch of New Mexico and changing up in different areas coming out as well too. So I kind of pulled all three of those properties you got up on the screen, but they're all kind of the same, right? They're all kind of 2.5 acres. Say the price you're asking again. 2009.
Yeah, they're all pretty similar. They're all 2.5 acres out in Los Angeles County. I tried to, so I have others in Los Angeles County. I've got a 5 acre, and I think I have 1 or 2 other 2.5 acres. But I tried to pick 3 that were pretty different. So in terms of location,
okay.
I've got 1 in Lancaster, 1 near Palmdale, and then 1 in Llano near Little Rock. So,
okay.
They're 2.5 acres. I'm asking $2,990 or $149 down, $149 a month for 24 months. And they're in the high desert, Antelope Valley. The closest one is just over an hour to Los Angeles. So I think they would make great investment property. As people are moving out of Los Angeles, try to get away from the prices and try to move in more affordable areas. I think all 3 of these properties could make great investments if you want to move out there. Each of them has electricity near the property. For water, you probably need to drill a well, or you can haul in water from elsewhere and kind of use a water tank. And they're all agricultural lots, so you can set up and build, and you can homestead out there, and kind of live a life a little bit out of the hustle and bustle.
Nice, that's cool. That's fun. Okay, so I've got them pulled up on the screen. I've been going back and forth between a couple of them. I'll get links to them. I'll put them in the description down below after this video is concluded. So the recorded version will have the links to each of the 3 properties and the price he's talking about. And as they're sold, as you click on them and go to the website, it should say sold, or the checkout button will stop working. And we'll try to get them marked sold as people buy them. But for the most part, go take a look at them, go drive the 3 of them. There should be links on all 3 of these, GPS coordinates to go drive each one of these, so you can click on it in your phone and get driving directions, or click on it in your computer and pull them up in a map and map them out and go check them out, see if the right one is there for you.
I'd say they're pretty straightforward properties. There's anything too crazy about them. They should be exactly kind of as they seem. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I think my number should be on your site, and then
name, phone number.
I created videos for these, so you should be able to find some information there. And shouldn't be anything too crazy.
Good deal. Thank you, Willie. Thanks for coming on.
All right, thanks for having me again.
Maybe you got a bunch of New Mexico for next week.
I should have a few, and then I've got the other ones, the infill lots. I have a few in escrow that should be closing this week. So
okay, cool.
I'll definitely have new ones.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you, and congratulations.
All right, thanks a lot.
Talk to you later.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Luke.
Bye.
Bye.
That's cool. Maybe it's because I see myself doing that in the past, but that's just the kind of stuff that I'm always advocating people, stop trading your time for money. I don't know how better to explain that to so many different people, but we're ingrained. I just dropped my kids off at school, their first day of school today. And the whole time I'm thinking, okay, poor kids are learning how to trade their time for money. They're learning how to show up on time. They're learning how to put their time in to get whatever it is, graduation someday, so they can go to college. But they've got to put their time in to get there. It's not about getting your stuff done to leave, getting your stuff done to go to the beach, getting your stuff done to go work on your next deal, getting your stuff done to go take a trip somewhere, or have fun. It's about putting in time, put that time in, get that certain amount of reward. I don't like that. And so I think Willie just made that move from putting his time in for the certain amount of reward. I don't know what his previous job was, but went from that to using his intellect to create capital, or the capital that he squirreled away, and to buy these properties, to go sell them for more again and again and again, over and over and over again, to pay the bills, to pay for life, to pay for everything. I'm sure he's taken a big risk doing it, and I'm sure he's nervous and scared, and at the same time, that's the drive. Like, he's got to do it. He's got to do it right. He's got to sell this stuff at the best prices, the best presentation, the best deals, get them moved, go get another one, get them sold, get another one, get them sold. And so people that are shopping his land are going to get the best deals, right? So everybody wins out of him being, you know, revved and amped and ready to go. He's got to do it, right? So that change from going from trading your time for money to using your intellect to create capital, he just made that jump. And so that's just awesome, awesome, awesome. If any of you guys can do that or have already done that, I'd love to hear about it too. And whatever the business might be, the strategy might be, I think investments, even small dollar investments, starting with I'm just going to keep talking land. There's lots of other kinds of investments, but some small dollar piece of land, middle of nowhere, buying it for cash, $500, $1,000, $2,000 or something, and selling it on terms. Sell it for $100 a month. You know, buy it for $500. Sell it for $100 a month for 20 months. 20 months means a lot more than $500. You know, you do that again and again and again and again. Come on, you can come up with $500. You can put it on a credit card. Not that that's a good idea, but you can. And you can do those sales, and you can do it again and again and again. And that cash flow, I mean, it doesn't last the rest of your life, but it allows you to buy some more properties. As you do that a couple times, you start saying, I got $100 a month coming in. You know, maybe wait a couple 5 months, you got your $500 back, you use that to buy another property. And next time, it doesn't take 5 months to get the $100. It takes, what, 2.5, 3 months. You got more than $500. You can buy another one. And then it's like 2 months every 2 months you're buying your $500 property. And then it's like every month you're buying your $500 property. It compounds and compounds and compounds. Before you know it, the $500 properties are going to get boring. You start buying $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 properties and go sell those on terms. Sell them for $200 a month or $500 a month or something. And the people that come in and buy those properties, they're like crying happy to get their hands on those things because they're walking away from a mortgage and a rent and all kinds of other stuff in their life. They're bettering themselves by bettering you, and everybody wins. And I think that's a powerful thing that can ripple through a person's finances and their family's finances, the time that they have to spend with their family, the time that they have to spend on their life and themselves, all kinds of stuff. Is hugely powerful. So when I'm saying stop trading your time for money, start using your intellect to create capital, that's an example of how you can do that. It's one simple, small example, but one that I think's got good numbers that'll, if you understand the numbers of that, when you start going to the store or shopping on Amazon or something for something you don't really need, it's like, I'm going to buy this thing because it sounds fun. You start thinking about buying assets instead. Hey, I could buy this piece of property over here that Luke was talking about the other day for some small dollar amount, and then I could sell it on terms. Maybe Luke will help me. Maybe the other guys on the website will help me. Maybe I could do it on my own. I could put it on Zillow. It doesn't cost anything to put it up on Zillow, answer the phone, and I could start selling it on terms. I could sell it and for more than I paid for it, and I could change my personal finances instead of buying that whatever off of Amazon, the next Roomba or something. I don't know. Just a thought, an example. Do what you want to do. I'm not your personal financial advisor, but it's something I'm passionate about. So let's go back to the website. Let's go to the next guy. Is Dave Ayres. Dave's got a property. I'm gonna try to dial this. Maybe I can pull up the website while it's ringing. See if we get him on the phone. And for those that are looking for the free land, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get there. Let me get down to the bottom of this. I'll give some land away. Well, Dave might be on the phone. Let's try the other Dave. Dave VanSteenkiste. I'm horrible at names. Steenkiste. Dave Van, let's say. I almost typed his property number instead of his phone number. I'm on stage, guys. See if he answers the phone.
Hi, you've reached David's cell phone. Leave me a message and I'll...
Got a cell phone. Let's look at the property anyway, and then we'll try the other Dave again. So Dave VanSteenkiste. I'm horrible at names. Sorry, Dave. I'm not sure if that's one of the guys or not. This is a different phone that nobody ever uses. It's weird to have someone calling in on it. So he's got 120 acres, Dave Van, and it's he's asking 49,997, and it's Modoc County, California. I think I've lightly looked at this property before, and let's pull it up. He's got oh, this was beautiful. I don't know if I can get this to play super well. I'm gonna give it a try. So he's got this drone footage. So hopefully this works. I'm gonna mute it so I can talk, but it's flying over my head here. So he's got drone footage of this property, and it looks just gorgeous. I mean, you got views out over the valley. You've got trees on the property. You just get your own kind of hill here. It looks like there's a couple ponds down here at the bottom of the hill. I don't think the ponds are on his property, but there's ponds in the area, which means there's water in the area. This just looks like the kind of property you could go hunting on. You could build a cabin. You could build a retreat that looks out over the area. You could build a couple cabins on it. You could build a camp. Build horseback riding camp. That's what my wife would want. And just look at all those trees. For California, that's a lot of trees. Some good sized trees too. Those aren't just little Arizona wannabe trees. I mean, those are like good serious trees. And they're all kind of spread out. They're not like northern Michigan, so thick you can't walk through them trees. Looks like you could ride a horse between the trees. You hike between the trees, maybe even drive a truck between some of them. So there's this website, Mile High Rural Land. And let me get out of this somehow. So there's some shots of this property that he's got. It's 120 acres, which is a really good sized piece of land. Looks like it's L-shaped. Looks like the road clips one side of it here. Looks like you can drive up to it and then go build your place, you know, wherever the best view is. He's got directions to the property. He's asking for a $997 deposit. He's saying he'll do seller financing with a minimum of $15,000 down. Call us for custom terms. His Dave's phone number and email are here. Phone number, email. Give him a call. Talk about the property. He's got all kinds of information about it in the website. I'll put a link in the description below. So if you're interested in this 120 acre property, click on that link. Go take a look at it. Go tour the property. I mean, don't just go off the videos. Just go tour the thing. Take a look at it. I bet you see some deer running around or some tracks in there. I don't know what the hunting permissions are or aren't in the area, but that looks like a deer property to me. So this is the corner of California, northeastern California border. Nevada's over here. Oregon's up here. Reno's down here. Medford, Oregon's over here. Bend, Oregon's over here. So this is a really wide open, vast area of freedom, really. I mean, there's hardly anybody around to tell you what to do. I'm not sure what the closest gas station and supplies would be. Maybe in Davis Creek. Some mountains over here with names on them. Some more, a little lake or pond over here. Looks like a little bit of a lake here. Might be a nice valley to have views out over. There's some of the local ponds you could see from the drone footage shots. Looks like they're damming up little streams. Yeah, it's a nice meadow in the back. There's a creek over here. The property, I think, clips this road somehow, doing this kind of thing. So that looks like a beautiful one. I wish that were closer to my house. I'd go drive it, take a look at it. Let's see if we can get the other Dave on the line. I'll try him again. He's probably talking about land. Let's pull up his property either way. This is Dave Ayres. He's got this property in Costilla County, Colorado he'd like to talk about. It's 4.6 acres.
Circle 7, this is Dave.
Hello Dave, Luke Smith. You're live on YouTube. I got your property pulled up. Hey, thank you. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for answering the phone.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're singing my tune when you're talking about all this fear type of stuff when you look at making the jump and all that.
Yeah, so where are you at? Are you working? Are you doing land full time, or are you
I'm kind of in the same. I'm kind of in a more recent version of what you did. I made some other investments that allowed me to jump ship in about 2014.
Nice.
And I've been entrepreneur type thing since then. And then just last month we brought my wife home from work, and she works with me in the land business now. So
congratulations,
so it's
there.
another jump, right?
Yeah.
I kind of call it emotional. You learn emotional ninja skills.
Yeah.
It's all the ebbs and flows of business, you know.
Yeah, you got to lower your personal expenses down to much as you or little as you possibly can to get all kinds of room for error, and just run for it. Yeah. So I think
we're very simple. We dumped all our debt.
Yeah.
Just live very simply and enjoy a simple life.
No, that's huge. That's really big. My wife still works, but I mean she runs her own business. She made the jump before I did. I mean she started a horseback riding school, and with some partners.
Really?
It didn't. The first rendition of it didn't work out so well. Partners were. One of them was like making money disappear. I'll say it politically correct. And it wasn't working. She wasn't reliable. There's other drug issues going on with one of the partners. And it just fell apart. So the business that she worked for before, teaching kids to ride horses, this was like 2008, right? And everything was down and out and not doing well. And the lady had, I don't know, 35 horses or something. And this is Southern California, where it cost at the property at the time, I mean, it was $800 or $900 a horse to keep the horse around. And the clientele of kids riding horses was like way down because the markets were down, and she wasn't willing to get rid of any horses to lower expenses, and the business was crashing and burning. It was bleeding like $5,000 a month, and so we bought it from her. We bought the business. We did a bunch. My wife, not me. I mean, she did a bunch of calculations and figurings that get rid of these horses and liven up this and that, and it could be profitable. So within maybe 2 months of her going to work on it, it was profitable, and it's instead of negative $5,000 a month, it started kicking out $2,000 or $3,000 a month, and it's gone up from there. But I mean, within a couple months of buying a negative $5,000 a month business, it was a couple $2,000 or $3,000 a month positive. It was pretty cool. And she cleaned up the employees over time, got them more reliable, paid them better, and moved properties, upscaled the property, and eventually got even higher scale clientele are willing to pay more, and better horses, and it just fixed it up more and more over time. She loves that business. It's not like work for her at all. I mean, she loves that.
Yeah.
Loves the horses and the kids and stuff. So, yeah.
Well, I love the stories like that because, I mean, everybody wins in those stories. Like the employees,
Yeah.
you know, the employer, the customers. I mean, that's what's so fun about this business.
Yeah, no, for sure. So now your wife's involved. Is she taking phone calls? Is she doing paperwork? Is she in the learning curve somewhere? Does she like it or hate it or?
We're like 6 or 8 weeks in here, and getting up, she doesn't dread getting up and going to work every day.
Nice.
You know, she's she keeps saying she's had to call HR on her boss a couple times, but
Yeah, there you go. Uh-oh.
Yeah, so yeah, she's loving it. She's doing all kind of the back end work with managing the VAs and doing a lot of the email and the paperwork and all that to just really get to know the business inside and out. And then we'll keep expanding from there. She's doing a lot of the marketing and the content as well. So.
Good. Yeah, that takes a lot of time. I don't think people understand how much work goes into that. Telling the story of these properties. Yeah, we'll just keep swinging. So, how about the story of this property you've got? This one here. I'm just pulling it up on the map. It looks like it's just south of Fort Garland. And I've got Alamosa over there. San Luis. Where's Durango? Okay, Durango's further west, I'm thinking. And then I'm not so familiar with Colorado. Like, I haven't spent much of any time in Colorado. I've spent, driven through a couple times, but not really gotten to know it very well.
Sure. The fun thing that I'm finding about Colorado is it just has a little bit of everything for everybody. I mean, there's people that want to own part or all the mountain, and there's people that just want to have the view of the mountain, and there's people that want to be full-fledged off-grid and not so off-grid, the kind of off-grid where you still have high-speed wireless,
Yeah.
So that's what's fun about Colorado is you can have any of those pieces of it for fairly cheap, prices. So I mainly, like today, we just bought a volume of these properties in Colorado, and so I've got some 5-acre properties that we're still working on getting more thrown on there, but they're ranging anywhere from about $2,000 to $3,000, $2,000 to $4,000, and I got a couple 10s and a 15-acre getting ready to jump on there too.
Okay.
So then, with having a little bit for everybody, I'm trying to have a little bit of everything for everybody. So I've got half-acre to acre properties that range from $800 to $2,000, and these 5-acre properties from the 2 to 4. So it fits all those pieces. And for the people that don't like, they don't want to be in just desert land or sage, but they don't want to be in the full-fledged, in the timber. We've got some land that's sitting up on the mesa in the valley that we just purchased, and so it's kind of a nice in between spot too. So that all makes sense.
Yeah. What? I mean, you probably talked to so many different buyers. Do you have like a typical buyer for these?
Yeah, my half-acre to acre property, like the guys love those, and the ladies love those for hunting camp and base camp.
Yeah, hunting camp, base camp. There you go. So there's a lot of state land, federal land, wherever you can go hunting all over the area. But you set up here, and you come in with your RV and spend the whole hunting season.
Yeah, and you don't have to mess with the we go out there to camp and we have to book a little cabin 18 months in advance to go out there.
It's popular.
So these guys are tired of doing that, So it's like I can pick up a half-acre for $800 and maybe pay $15 a year in taxes, and I don't have to make any reservations.
Exactly. So there's no I mean, there's no maintenance, there's no brush control restriction, HOA rules,
No.
whatever. Time. How about timelines? Can you camp there year round? Can you go just a month at a time or a week at a time, or they got
Their official statement says that you can camp a couple weeks every quarter.
couple weeks every quarter?
So,
Okay.
Yep. So if you're a weekender, or or you use it just to hunt a couple few times a year, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect for you.
Nice. No, that's cool. So what's the hunting? Is it elk? Is it deer?
It's
All the above?
elk, deer. There's right to the east of this property. When you see it on the map, you've got Cielo Vista Ranch, and it's like 80,000 plus acres. And for little behind the scenes, like the Enron guys used to own this like a decade or two ago, and so guys come in and pay to hunt elk on there. There's a big herd. They and they fish for browns and all that good stuff. So
Okay.
you just and there's public land for it too, but it's kind of nice to know you got 80,000. I think it's like 88,000 acres that are going to be untouched and undeveloped.
Yeah. Neat. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. And the county's pretty open. If you'll come in and just share what your plan is with them. I got a customer that's building an earth chip home. He just shared the plan with them, and they approved it, and we did that before he even bought. It's while it gets cold and there's wind for your wind solar guys, and it's one of the biggest users of sun solar in the nation as well. So all parts and service are readily available up there in the valley for all that too. So it's that whole off grid, not off grid. If you don't want to work on your own stuff, you still don't have to.
Good.